The Frank Beck Chevrolet Studio Annex. This is Time Out Overtime on the Time Out Overtime YouTube channel. I'm your host, Rick Arsenal, for a Tuesday. Well, it seems hard to believe this is already Tuesday, and we're almost at the end of June, but Tuesday, June 25th, into Wednesday, June 26th. 4th of July will be here before you know it. Yeah, midsummer's half over already, maybe almost, well, maybe. Anyway, before we get started here, I'd like to welcome a new friend of mine, courtesy of Buck Ellis, the sales manager out at Frank Beck Chevrolet. Miguel Cabrera will be part of the show, at least for the time being anyway, as long as he behaves himself. Miguel, Miggy, doesn't say too much. Say hi to everybody out there. There we go. So thank you for that prop, Buck. What up, Buck Ellis? And we'll be recording a new special commercial for Frank Beck Chevrolet at the studio on Saturday morning. So we look forward to that, seeing all the guys then. So anyway, I thought what I would do tonight is get you caught up on what happened over the weekend. And that's part of the problem when you have a 3-day hiatus between Saturday and Tuesday. A lot that transpired in the last 72 hours. Trying to get you caught up on what happened over the weekend. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the Pistons with the NBA draft coming up tomorrow night, what my wish for them would be. And yeah, that's tomorrow night. I'll get into that in just a second. Hang on here. So let's get this started. Time Out Overtime is sponsored in part by Frank Beck Chevrolet and M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville. If it's time for a new to you vehicle, let the sales professionals at Beck's help you choose the right vehicle. New or pre-owned, Beck's has the top selection in the tri-state area with over 200 vehicles in stock. Pardon me. Stop by and see for yourself. And when you're ready, ask for Russ McMorty, Chris Hodis, Danny Smith, Adam Schaefer, Blake Bryant, Cameron Mincio, Bob Flynn, or their newest sales professional, Peyton Lucas. Get on there and welcome Peyton into the fold. Yeah. And when it comes time to service that new to you vehicle, the service pros at Beck's can fix it. Any make, any model, foreign or domestic, Beck's can fix it. And if you have a bit of a crunch or fender bender, Beck's Body Shop can put it back together, looking just as good as new. So for all your automotive needs, look no further than Frank Beck Chevrolet at M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville at 517-849-2886 or on the web at frankbeckchevy.com. Come and experience the Frank Beck difference. Chevrolet, together, let's drive. Okay. Before we go any further, let me take a swig of water here. You mind if I do this here, Mickey? Huh? Okay. Bienvenidos, amigo. Good to have you here. Okay. First of all hail the Florida Panthers. If you had your head in the sand, you don't know by now. They beat the Oilers last night 2-1 in Game 7. And it was a real old-fashioned hockey game. And so the Oilers will have to wait at least one more year since their Stanley Cup drought of 1993 before they win another Stanley Cup. In spite of the fact that the Oilers lost, Connor McDavid, and I think rightfully so, wasn't named the Conn Smythe Award winner, which goes to the MVP. And as I say, I think deservedly so. Give them credit. Let's give the Oilers credit. They could have folded up when they got down 3-0, and they didn't do that. They fought back, took it to 7 games, and it was a good, hard-fought series. I have not seen the ratings yet. I would imagine they were pretty good for last night. And I'm a little bit jealous of the South Florida because apparently after the game last night, as you might expect that the players never went to bed. They were out with the Stanley Cup partying all night. And at the crack of dawn this morning, they even took the cup out to the beach with them, and they were out waiting around in the Atlantic Ocean with the cup floating around out there. So if you get a chance, check that out. Walking, taking, had the Stanley Cup with him, walking all over town with it, stopping traffic. I guarantee you down there, people did a lot of people that they ran into didn't even know what the cup was or what was going on. But anyway, congratulations to the Florida Panthers on your first ever Stanley Cup championship. And rightfully so. I think they were, pardon me, I think when it was all said and done, I think they were the best team in the NHL this year. So, but the future looks bright for the Oilers too. So, my champ of the week for last week or last weekend is going to be Scotty Scheffler, winner of the Travelers Championship in spite of what went on the 18th hole. The climate protesters on the 18th hole. It was for that reason I made those people my chumps of the week. Did you see that? See what went on the 18th hole? And that was just, you're trying to make a point or get a point across. Then that's no way to do it, really. Anyway, congratulations to the Tennessee Volunteers winning the College World Series, beating Texas A&M last night 6-5. It's a best of 3 series, and what that is. Anyway, Tennessee Volunteers, this year's College World Series champions. So congratulations to them. And if you didn't see this too, folks, the Major League Baseball implemented the pitch clock last year. Okay. So what we got? We've got about a year and a half now with a pitch clock. And for the first time ever, if you didn't read about this or hear about it, Saturday night in Denver, the Colorado Rockies were playing the Washington Nationals, and they had a walk-off win in the 9th inning, but it wasn't a hit, it wasn't a walk, it wasn't a hit batter, it was a pitch clock violation with the bases loaded. First time that's ever happened. A walk-off win via a pitch clock violation. I suppose you knew sooner or later it was going to happen. And it finally happened Saturday night in Denver. First time that's ever happened. The Tigers, they did manage to beat the White Sox 2 out of 3. That was the first series that they won since the first week of the month. Who'd they beat? I guess they won 2 out of 3 at Texas. And that was the White Sox. And then they got to playing a good team last night in the Phillies, and they got bombed 8-1. So we should know by now that they can't compete against a bona fide good team like the Phillies. Story of the game last night, if you hadn't heard, there was a triple play that the Phillies pulled off against the Tigers. We had men at first and third with nobody out. There was a broken bat, little line drive back to the mound that the pitcher caught. Zach McKinstry was on third base. Carson Kelly was on first base. Make a long story short, the pitcher caught the ball. McKinstry at first base. As he explained after the game, he thought the ball hit the ground. Somewhere or another, he was distracted by the shattered bat or whatever. He just simply ran home. Make a long story short, a triple play, a 1-3-5 triple play that the Phillies pulled off. There have been a lot of triple plays over the years, but this was the first 1-3-5 triple play since 1929. And oddly enough, that also involved the Tigers. But I'm beginning to lose more and more respect for A.J. Hinch. I've just seen too many things, base running blunders. Was it last week? Ryan Kreidler missed first base on his way to a double, was calling out for that. Outfielders on the relay throw overthrowing the cutoff man, throwing to the wrong base, infielders out of position on the relay throw, like they don't really know where they're supposed to be. See, this is what you're going to have. AJ, this is what you're going to have when you want players, when you want hybrids for players, you want them playing out of position every night. You've got to have a set lineup. When you're driving to the ballpark to play that night, you've got to know where you're going to be playing and where you're going to be hitting in the lineup. One night you're in the infield, the next night you're in the outfield. What is that? And I mentioned Ryan Kreidler, who's playing shortstop. You know where he was at Toledo when they called him up? He was playing center field. Like I said, if it wasn't for the fact that I've got to talk about the Tigers on this show on Saturday morning with Eddie, if it wasn't for that, I would have nothing to do with them. As it is now, I don't watch them. I don't listen to them. I simply monitor what they're doing because I have to in order to relay that to you and let you know what's going on. But if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't. I would have no interest at all in this team. And with the trade deadline coming up 5 weeks from tomorrow, July 31st, this is the first significant move that Tiger President Scott Harris will. And let me adjust the microphone here a second. Microphone, the camera. I don't want to lose my camera. That's better. Okay. Okay, Miggy? All right, boy? Okay. Where were we? Tigers. Yeah. I had somebody complain to me yesterday about irate at the fact that they couldn't watch the Tigers. They've got Comcast and wanting my input or spin on what was going on with that. I said, this is going to be a very lengthy dispute. I fully expect it to run into hockey and basketball season. This person is also a very big Piston fan, so when he heard that, he wasn't very, very happy about that either. But Tigers, when this whole thing started, initially said it was out of their control. They had nothing they could do about it. And in my opinion, it's a blessing. And somebody did tell me too, they subscribed to Comcast. They did get an $8 or $10 credit last month on their bill. So at least they made good on that promise anyway. Is that about all we have to say about baseball for tonight? I think it is. I told you about the Scotty Scheffler, by the way. I did tell you he won the Travelers Championship in spite of what happened. That was his 7th championship of the season so far. 7 championships before July. Hasn't been done since Arnold Palmer did it way back in 1962. That was a while ago. So again, congratulations, Scott Scheffler, the world's greatest golfer, for his winning the Travelers Championship in Cromwell, Connecticut. Before we go any further, before I forget to, let me put in a good word for a good man, because Miggy, you want to do this? You want to do this? You want me to do it? Okay, I'll do it. Tim Lee at Quality PC in downtown Hillsdale at 37 Waldron Street. It's a couple hundred feet west of Howell Street on the north side of the street. You couldn't find a better man, or he or his assistant Zach, when it comes to tech service, anything. They are the smartest people I know when it comes to technical issues, whatever it is. Computers, new or used. If the computer you have now maybe needs a little tweaking done on it, take it in. Tim will work on it. He'll fix it for you. Fix it right up. In fact, the computer I'm using here was it's an older computer. It needed some work done on it. By the time Tim was done with it, did a little tweaking on it. It works like new, like I got a new computer. Anything. Maybe you bought recently bought a flat screen smart TV. And you need it mounted, programmed. Tim's the guy to see for that. Anything at all. Changing internet providers, printers, new or used, anything. Again, that's at 37 Walter Street in downtown Hillsdale at 517-610-5372. Or better still, get in there and see him, 37 Walter Street. And when you do, please tell him Rick sent you. Thank you. Thanks. Is there anything we have to? The Detroit News posted a job opening yesterday for a Lions beat writer. Justin Rogers apparently is leaving the news. I don't know if that's his own doing or he was dismissed or what, but the Detroit News is looking for a new Lions beat writer. I'm sorry to hear that. I really enjoyed reading Justin Rogers. Thought it was very good. Like I say, I don't have any details on it. I just heard about this last night. No, I'm sorry to see him go. I'm sure he'll land somewhere else, maybe doing a podcast or something. But anyway. Too, you may not have seen this. Jared Goff is a married man now. He got married over the weekend in California. I guess it was quite the wedding, to his longtime girlfriend, of course, Kristen Harper, model Kristen Harper, very attractive young lady. So we wish the newlyweds congratulations, and that must have been quite a reception. Anyway, maybe that, as good as Jared Goff has been the last couple of years, maybe the fact that he's married now will even make him even better. I have a hunch it will. I really do. When a couple of things too on the Red Wings, Steve Yzerman had a conference call, Zoom call, last Friday. He got kind of overshadowed by the Tom Gores and the Trajan Langdon presser, but he didn't really say a whole lot. It doesn't sound like he's going to go out and bring in another goalie. I got the impression he's bringing back Ville Husso, who was hurt most of last season, and Alex Lyon, who started out well, but seemed like the more he played, the less effective he became in the net. This is his sixth season. And I think the mere fact that he's Steve Yzerman is probably the reason he's still here yet. But Steve, you got to make the playoffs this year. I mean, it's got to happen. I mean, it went right down to the last game last year. I know. You go back and look. Maybe if they'd have won one of those two games against Arizona, they would have got in. Anyway, I just wanted to get you. The NHL draft is Friday and Saturday this week. We've got the NBA draft coming up tomorrow night. But, I was a little bit surprised in the presser that Trajan Langdon had. He wasn't asked much about the draft or free agency, the fact that the Pistons had more cap money than anybody else to work with. I wrote down the name of a free agent who I think would help the Pistons here, and Langdon has a lot of familiarity with him. The fact that this guy has been playing in New Orleans with the Pelicans. That would be the veteran small forward Najee Marshall. N-A-J-I, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Najee Marshall. I've seen this guy play before, although I always call him Najee. Maybe it's Najee, but he's only 26. He played his college ball at Xavier. I think it would help this team. I don't think you'd have to break the bank to sign him and bring him in here. He's improved his 3-point shooting, and if anything, then this team needs shooters. He's not a bad defensive player. And like I said, Langdon, if anybody knows about this guy, it's got to be Langdon. It's just one name, Najee Marshall. It wouldn't shock me to see them sign this guy, bring him in as a free agent. As far as the draft goes, Yahoo Sports reported last week that the Pistons are shopping forward Isaiah Stewart, and that shouldn't surprise anybody. In fact, I don't know why they even gave him an extension a while back, but this draft, I'm only going to go through. This is a Yahoo mock draft. But before we do that, I'm going to segue into something else here. As I told you last week, Pistons are picking 5. There's not a lot of disparity between 1 and 5 this year in terms of talent. The guy that I'm looking at, who I'd like to see the Pistons draft at number 5, could very well go number 1, or he could fall to them. And that would be UConn center. Donovan Clingan, Clingan, Donovan Clingan, 7'2", 7-foot wingspan. He's only 20 years old. But the fact he would be a dominant defensive, he would be an impact defensive player immediately. I think he could start for any team immediately. Well, not any team, but a lot of teams. If you're going to build a defense, you can start with this guy. Obviously, he helped UConn win a championship last couple of years, and he's improved. He's formed among leagues. He's just that good. I mean, this guy is a very good defensive player. He could improve on his offensive skills the older he gets. But Donovan Clingan, he would single-handedly allow the Pistons to field a markedly improved team defensive rating and form among the league's worst a season ago. Lord knows the Pistons need help everywhere, but especially on defense. In the notes that I wrote down here, I've looked at, I've watched some of his highlights. If you followed UConn through the tournament, this kid is good. He might even still be growing yet, but he's got a wingspan of 7 feet. He would be a very good rim defender. If you were to draft this kid at 5, he could very well go number 1 to Atlanta. But if you were to draft this kid at 5, I think you'd be looking to trade Jalen Duren. You wouldn't get a haul or bundle for Duren, but you could get a decent player for him, be it a younger player or a veteran. And as far as Donovan Clingan goes at number 5, you could always draft him and then trade his rights to some other team. I'm sure there'll be plenty of teams that would be beyond 5 that would be love to get their hands on this kid. You could get a bundle for him. But that's why I'm a little bit surprised. They didn't spend a whole lot of time at this press conference Friday talking about the draft or free agency. I don't know why the questions that were asked. I didn't. But I was impressed with Langdon. This is probably the first time, folks, any team has gone into the draft without a head coach. No. Anyway, but let me give you this quickly. We're running out of time here. Miggy's telling me we're running out of time. Let me quickly give you the Yahoo Sports first 5 draft picks. Of course, Atlanta's got the first pick. Yahoo's got them taking Zachary Richard from France, 6'8", forward out of France. Risacher. Some of these names, Zachary Richard, 6'8", forward out of France. They've got him going number 1 to the Hawks. And they could just as easily take Clingan as they could this guy. The Washington Wizards are picking number 2. They got them taking Alex Sarr, Sarr, 7'1" center out of Australia. Houston Rockets are picking 3rd. They've got them taking Reed Shepherd, 6'2" guard out of Kentucky. Pardon me. They've got the number 4, San Antonio picking at 4. They've got them taking Stephon Castle, 6'6" guard out of UConn, a teammate of Donovan Clingan's, and that's who they've got the Pistons taking at number 5. Hey, if you're a Piston fan, and he was still there at 5, and the Pistons took him, in my opinion, then that would probably be the best case scenario. Because like I said earlier, he would have an immediate impact on the defensive end of the floor. I don't know what he would do at the other end, but I think he could develop his offensive skills as he got older. You got to start somewhere. Defense and shooters. You could, like I said, you could draft Clingan and trade his rights to another team. You could probably get 2 or 3 good players for him. Anyway, food for thought. Miggy says we got to wrap it up. We got to go. Okay. I'll be back again Thursday night. Don't forget Saturday morning from 9 to 10 here locally. Time Out with Andy Brown on WCSR 92.1 FM. And as I said, I will be with you again on Thursday. In the meantime, remember, treat each other with respect and have a good evening, everyone.